From Content 360, this is the state of client acquisition. Welcome to the state of client acquisition. This is your host, Michael Bohannes. In today's show, I'm talking about why thinking that you are disruptive or redefining your niche, whatever it may be, that this type of thinking could actually be holding you back quite considerably and keeping you from being successful. So we'll cover a lot. We'll cover the source of all happiness. We'll cover the definition of success in this episode, but most importantly, why you shouldn't call yourself disruptive or redefining something. Okay, I hope you will enjoy. And before we actually start, let me quickly repeat that State of Client Acquisition podcast is open to your questions. So if ever you feel like you have a challenge in your client acquisition process, please go to www.stateofclientacquisition.com and you can submit a question there, either in writing or just simply recording it right there in your browser. Okay, and without any further ado, let's get started with this week's episode. In today's episode, I would like to talk about why describing yourself as being disruptive or redefining your area is not just lazy marketing that most people can see through. I also think that it puts you into exactly the wrong mindset for long-term happiness because you are trying to take a shortcut to success. And for some reason, I've been recently seeing quite a few people who have the word disruptive in their profile, in their LinkedIn profile. Somebody who I recently saw on LinkedIn said, redefining how teams and organizations succeed. And I was thinking, I just don't buy it. It's very unlikely that you are actually redefining how they succeed. You may help them succeed, but you're probably not redefining how they succeed. So in discussing this, let's start with a pretty left field question, and that is, when are people at their happiest? When are you at your happiest? I would argue, and I think most literature bears this out, is that you're at your happiest when you are working and experiencing progress, personal growth, while you are pursuing a difficult to achieve but meaningful goal. Most people are not at their happiest when they're at a steady state, when they are in a level of equilibrium, when they've achieved something. Usually not that you're happiest there. You are happiest on the path towards it. So the path is the goal, as many ancient proverbs and wisdoms tell us. And why is that? And that's because I believe, at least, that the reason why this is the most conducive path towards happiness is because you have a sense of accomplishment, because you're figuring out something hard and meaningful, of course. And you also have a purpose. You have a calling, a mission. You're part of a story. You're the hero of your own journey. You're part of a narrative. And those two elements are so important. Okay, so this is just, let's leave that aside. This is when people are at their happiest, progressing towards a goal. Second thing, as in preparation, let's define success. It's almost a politically correct dogma these days to just say that success is subjective. Like, oh, what's your definition of success? No. It doesn't matter what your definition of success is. It has already a very clear-cut definition. Merriam-Webster defines to succeed as to attain a desired object or end. So what does that mean? Let's break it down. When a goal, object, or end is desired, it cannot be easy to achieve, right? It must be hard to get. Nobody says when you're breathing, nobody would call you successful, okay? Because breathing is pretty easy. Most people can do it. But what is difficult and desired are things like wealth or artistic or athletic accomplishments, anything that is really kind of difficult to get. Those are challenging goals. And that's why we always, pretty much invariably, all of us, we always have the same kind of person in our mind's eye when we say a successful XYZ. When I say a successful marketer, most of us kind of have the same image in our head. It could be male or female, of course, but what I see is usually this kind of Seth Godin-like person with the turtleneck sweater and thick glasses and a very nice and clear-cut beard, for example. That's what I would see in my mind's eye when I think successful marketer, somebody who has achieved the peak of their professional success. And when I say successful plumber, To use a blue collar example, you imagine somebody who has been so good, has given so many clients that they had to, hire people, teach them their method, and now they own a chain of nationwide plumbing stores. That is a successful plumber. Now, of course, you cannot be miserable while you're at the top of the dominance hierarchy. That would sort of make you unsuccessful when you are this Mr. Scrooge type person who, despite their wealth, is unhappy and miserable. But the stronger element in the success definition is the objective one, namely having achieved a top rank or near top rank in a specific dominance hierarchy. And so that's why it's such a piece of nonsense to say, well, everyone is their own definition of success. No, they don't. No one would describe, for example, a guy who has been a piano teacher for 40 years somewhere in a small town, very happy family life, they're very successful socially and so on, but you would not call him a successful pianist or even a successful piano teacher. He was a good piano teacher, but you would call somebody like that maybe content, happy, fulfilled, but you wouldn't call them successful. Okay, so let's now put these two things together. People are at their happiest when they are working and progressing towards a difficult goal. And the definition of success is to be at the near or at the top of a dominance hierarchy in a difficult to achieve goal, right? This is where these two things converge. Now, when you describe yourself here as being disruptive or redefining something, and you actually believe that it's not just marketing BS, what are you doing there? You are not really working within the hierarchy. You are trying to kind of break it into pieces and put it together again in your own image and then emerge as the most dominant player in that hierarchy. Right? Steve Jobs comes to mind with the iPhone and the iPod, or the Uber founders. They come to mind as well because they've truly disrupted an industry. And now, of course, objectively, virtually 100% of the people who call themselves disruptive or redefining, like this person who I saw on LinkedIn, redefining how people and organizations succeed. Of course, they're not disrupting. They're not redefining anything. They are just looking for the shortcut to bypass the long and hard uphill road up the dominance hierarchy. And this is my main message here. It's great, worthy, and noble to work within a specific framework, to not try to disrupt something. It is wonderful and noble in itself to work within that hierarchy and becoming better and better at your craft. And one of the reasons is that while you are becoming better, while you're working within that hierarchy, you are actually adding value. When you're a plumber, let's stay with this example, when you're a plumber and you're becoming better and better and better at your craft, while you are doing so, you are serving people. You are repairing their plumbing. You are helping them unblock their toilets and whatever else, right? So you are adding value while you're becoming better. If you are, however, seeking to disrupt the plumbing business, you are probably locked up in your little lab and you're just trying to come up with a new different type of piping so that you can call yourself disruptive. And while you're doing that, most likely you will fail. Most people who try to come up with these radical innovations fail, and you're not really adding value. So if this is you, if you like to describe yourself as redefining your niche or being disruptive and so on, consider that you might be doing this at the expense of your fulfillment and satisfaction. Unless you're a clear-cut genius, which probably you aren't, I'm not, you're probably not either. Simply learn to enjoy the pleasure of figuring the difficult things out, because this is the path towards happiness and fulfillment. And because while you're doing this, you're adding value along the way. I'm not the world's best marketer or salesman, but I'm constantly becoming better at it, and I have more and more clients. And these clients see more and more success. I've had 2 or 3 successful testimonials last year. I've already had 5 this year, and the year is not even half over. So I'm becoming better at what I do. I'm serving more and more clients, and it's wonderful. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm not trying to be disruptive. I'm not redefining my niche. I'm simply helping people to find clients using LinkedIn, using funnels, using Facebook increasingly, right? So this is my message for you in this episode. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you have to do all the mistakes in the book. Part of climbing the hierarchy more effectively and efficiently is to get help from somebody who is 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. And if you want to get better in this whole domain of client acquisition for your business, one way to do this would be to work with us here at the Alpha Lead Academy. In the past few months, we have hit an average of $25,000 a month, and I expect to hit at least a $50,000 month at some point this year. So if you are a coach, consultant, or you run your own B2B company, and you want to become better at content and outbound and sales and this entire process, creating a whole system of client acquisition in your business, we can help you in 2 scenarios. One is if you don't have a full calendar yet, you are looking to get new clients. This is where we can help you create this system of client attraction and outreach and sales. And scenario 2 is when you're already so busy as a consultant that you cannot get new clients, we help you transition and scale your business by productizing your service offering. So if that is interesting to you, then please go to winclients.club and then click on book call at the top of the page so we can have a quick chat and see if we could be a fit to work with you and help you in this. And we would then be helping you on your path up the dominance hierarchy in your chosen field, help you be successful and in the process of it, happier and more fulfilled. So in the meantime, stop redefining, stop disrupting, and just simply keep getting better at your craft. The State of Client Acquisition is a Content 360 production. Music by Gavin Knox-Grand. To sign up for alerts and to submit written and audio questions, go to stateofclientacquisition.com. I'll talk to you in the next episode.
Montreal girls in the tail end of winter. Caffeine burns, wide awake dreams in color. Blood on my hands in this open heart journey. And infinite numbers, rapid fire across the country. We slide tonight, and the light